What's happening, troops? Welcome back to another episode of the Nae First Touch podcast. In this one today, started a wee bit there, it's going to be an absolute blockbuster. Yeah, the biggest game in Scotland is coming up this weekend. We're going to get right in amongst it. I'm joined by the regular host, Jack. What's happening, mate?
What's happening, man? I'm buzzing. I'm so buzzing.
What's your usual feeling before a game like this?
Nerves, excitement, sick, the whole lot, mate.
Whole lot. And we're also joined by Kirsten, making a second appearance. How's it going?
What's happening? How you doing? Yeah.
Well, ask you the same question then. Do you get nervous similar to Jack, or you just excited more?
No, definitely. I get nervous. I get really, really nervous until the actual day, and then I'm just proper buzzing about it. But nah, butterflies, feeling sick. Nah, but yeah, I'm excited overall, so should be good.
I'm feeling like the more I talk about it, the more nervous I'm getting. Do you know what I mean?
I'm the same.
The more I see things on Twitter and stuff, I think that's when the nerves are more kicking in. You see everyone's comments, obviously everybody talking about like the battle fever and all that stuff. So it's like everybody's different inputs. I think that kind of builds it up, which is obviously good. So, but it still doesn't make it any easier, I suppose.
And we're going to get stuck right into it today. But before we do get into talking a little bit about the old firm, Scotland, 3 wins. I can't believe it. I cannot remember the last time Scotland won 2 in a row, never mind 3. And I thought that, for me personally, the first game was dreadful to watch, but we got the job done. We're hard to beat. Second game, no much better, but again, we get the win. The last game there against Czech Republic, although we conceded quite a lot of chances on another day, Czech Republic could have probably took something out of that game, probably deserved something out of that game. That was the best and most entertaining game I thought it was for Scotland so far. I thought Fraser was really good, Lyndon Dykes, they've kind of formed a partnership. Kirsten, what was your thoughts on Scotland in the last 3 games there?
To be honest, I don't really watch Scotland a lot.
That's great.
But no, but see these first couple, like these games, I did take an interest. Penalty shootout. Jesus, like I was pretty nervous for that because I didn't know what way it was going to go. Obviously we got the win, which was good. I just think Lyndon Dykes has been really, really good. His goal in the second game, he took that well. Czech Republic game, he took that really well. And as you said, the partnership with him and Ryan Fraser. Ryan Fraser's goal was great as well. Quite early on. Unfortunately, nothing really else happened the rest of the game, like me and Jack were talking about earlier on. But we got the job done. Got 3 wins, top of the table. I can't really complain much about that, to be honest. So it's one of those ones. I'm chuffed, to be honest.
I need to correct myself there. You're right. It was a Slovakia game that Lyndon Dykes got his goal. He took it really well. I think it was the only opportunity he had, really. He had another one just before he went off. But yeah. I think he's been one that had a lot of question marks about him when he get called up to the Scotland squad. But he's went in there and he showed what hard work can do. Because a lot of the times his service hasn't been great. But his tenacity to get on the ball and make stuff happen has been unbelievable. And I think that's what Scotland have needed so much. For me, watching Scotland, I've got frustrated a lot, thinking to myself, like, he doesn't look like he's running enough. He doesn't, and at the end of the game, when you're getting beat or you're drawn, you're feeling frustrated. But I think when there's guys like Lyndon Dykes playing, at the end of the game, if you get beaten, you just go, we weren't good enough. Do you know what I mean? We gave it our all, and that's something that I love about Lyndon Dykes. Jack, you're no a big watcher of Scotland yourself, mate, but did you manage to catch anything about the games? Have you got an opinion on it?
Funny enough, I watched the last one just based on...
Beautiful. Is that your debut?
That's my debut, mate. It was good. I didn't know we were blue. That was nice. The overall thought of the whole Scotland thing is a bit of a shock, I'm not going to lie. I think it's one of the ones we play like Kilmarnock a wee bit. Obviously, it's not a really shock when we've got Steve Clarke at the helm. It's not really a big shock, but Kilmarnock have grinded victories out against Rangers and Celtic time and time again. So it's a shock, but it's not a shock that he's doing that against bigger teams. And this kind of set up as well. But overall, satisfied with the games. 3 points is 3 points, and we're top of that group, which is class.
I'm sure we'll preview it closer to the time, but we will now play Serbia in the final to get to the Euros. The most Scotland thing ever would be to obviously go out there and get beat. It is going to be a tough game. We're going to be the underdogs in the game. They've got players like Milinkovic-Savic, who's been unbelievable for them the last few games, along with Mitrovic, Tadic and stuff like that. And they've got other players as well. They're going to be a hard game. But hopefully this might suit Scotland, where we can go and we can sit in a wee bit more and we can ride the luck a bit, and hopefully we can get any Euros, mate, because honestly, that would be unbelievable for Scotland, I think.
100%. It's one of the ones,
really
I've seen the photos on Twitter, and it's like constantly dressed as a woman.
I've seen that,
McLean,
actually.
Like Bolton Mad Dog.
Callum Patterson with the Mad Dog as well.
These are the people that are going to take us to the first major tournament in like 21 years, and I would have it no other way.
Right, let's now move on to the Old Firm. Earlier on, when we were talking about what we're going to do in the show, we decided that Jack is going to do a predicted starting 11 for Rangers and lead that a wee bit, and we'll discuss it, and Kirsten is going to do the same for Celtic. So, Jack, would you like to kick us off, mate? But you think your predicted starting 11 is?
Okay.
So many options.
I know. So there's a few in here that I might be favoured for what I would choose rather than a predicted one, just based on what I think would be the strongest team. So in goals, I went for McGregor. I know McLaughlin's been playing well, but the biggest game of the season, big game player is Alan McGregor. So there wasn't really a competition in my eyes. Right back Tav, left back Barisic again, the two best wing backs in the league. Middle, I've got Goldson and Balogun. I was hesitant about putting Hollander in there. I'm not too sure if he's able to play or not, but Balogun for me is just he's calm. I don't feel nervous when he's on the park. There's a wee part of me that thinks Hollander has got a wee something in him that can mess up. I feel like I think he's got a mistake in him, whereas I think Balogun's solid.
Before we move on to the midfield, then let's discuss that a wee bit. My predicted starting 11 is McGregor, Tav, Goldson, Hollander and Barisic. Hollander is a player that I want to play in the game, but as you're saying, it's a wee bit touch and go at the moment, and I'm starting to now get the sense that Balogun will play in this game as well, which for me will allow Rangers to play a wee bit of a higher line. But if Celtic kind of lure Rangers into that, they might try and hit them on the counter. That's my only thoughts on that. Hollander, I've been dying for him to get a game in the Old Firm. Obviously, get injured in the cup final. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's got a mistake in him, Jack. I think he's a real deal defensively.
I hope if he plays, I hope you're right. I really do. But I don't know. It's one of the ones. We'll see for what I've seen for Balogun. I don't see any. Like, see for example the goals that Hibs scored. See the header. I'm certain Balogun clears that. I'm certain Balogun clears that. I don't know. I might be wrong. But so far, I'm sticking with Balogun. But my midfield, I went with Ryan Jack and Stephen Davis, with Scott Arfield just sitting in front. I think Arfield's been one of the best players of the full squad this season. Mm-hmm. In my head, I'm in two minds. I don't know if I'd rather have him come on like 65 minutes and be an impact player when he's full of beans and he's gone for it, or have him for the get go and have that energy for the get go. So yeah, I went with Jack Davis and Arfield.
Mate, I've went with Davis, Kamara, and Arfield. But it's a good headache to have, I think, for Steven Gerrard as well. There's so many different variations he can do. Ryan Jack, for me, obviously just played for Scotland. Preferably, I would like to have Ryan Jack, Davis, and Arfield. That would be my preferred three. But I think somebody's going to need to drop it, and it might be Ryan Jack. It might be Glenn Kamara. It might be Scott. It could be any of them. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where it becomes really interesting, this game. The reason why I put Kamara in there is I think that he's going to be pivotal to Stoke and Frimpong. I think that we're going to need to stop him playing if Rangers want to do well in this game. Do you know what I mean? Because he can punish Rangers. Kirsten, let's bring you in then on Frimpong a wee bit there. Do you think that that'd be a good tactic to try and stop this boy? Because obviously he is on fire this season. He's doing really well.
He's done really well. Obviously, he can go up and down. What I was saying last time, Greg Taylor kind of is more defensively, whereas Frimpong's more attacking. That's what he did last time he came to Celtic Park. He's doubled up on him. He didn't have any other thing to do. He was losing the ball, and I think that's something that you did well, is the fact that you knew the danger and you did, anytime you get the ball, drag him out wide, don't give him any options. So I think there might be a wee tweak in our system to stop that.
You would think so?
Yeah, obviously. What I'm hoping is obviously that Neil Lennon will get a squad together and look and say this is what went wrong last time, because I'm not going to, this is probably the Old Firm that I've been nervous for since the cup final. So it's not going to be a walk in the park. Obviously we've had a few games in the few seasons before. So it's one of those you are going to really need to dig deep. Both teams are heavy in it, so you just need to see who comes out on top and see what happens. But I think that's what you are going to do again. is definitely double up on our strongest attacking players. Obviously, with James Forrest being injured, Frimpong is going to take care of that right side. So, going to need to do something to stop him, I think.
Arfield's got to start though, Jack, isn't he? My fear is that Steven Gerrard plays him in the right wing position though. That's my fear.
That's like what I was going to go on when I talked about my. So I've got Morelos, Hadji, and Kent. I'm seeing a lot of Hadji haters on Twitter. I'm seeing a lot of anti-Hadji stuff. Hadji's like the top assist in the season this year, I know.
Yes, he get 5 assists. Yeah.
I don't get the hate. Obviously, he goes kind of quiet some games, but he's doing the things he needs to do. He's proven he can score goals as well. Obviously, and maybe that's what Rangers fans are wanting from him. But I don't get it.
I think people are kind of criticising him, but because he doesn't naturally play in the right wing, does he? I think he plays through the middle. So
now, we've said on the show so far, we think his best position is a 10, but he can kind of play out in the right as well, and that's where he's played mostly.
He's a good player from what I've seen. He's a kind of looks like a big performing player for you guys, but I've seen a few Rangers fans. I know a few of my pals and stuff have voted him off, but I'm like, it's not his natural position. Do you know what I mean? It's like when El Yunusi was playing as a striker, people were writing him off. I'm like, but he isn't a striker. So do you know what I mean? And when Christie was playing as a striker, he's not. So
I also think that Hadji's a big game player.
Yeah.
I think he's a big game player. He went quite quiet against the likes of St Mirren, St Johnstone, but you look at the Braga game, for example, he was the absolute star man, and I think he's got that in him when it comes in the big games, big pressure games, and I see it happening. I see him having a good game.
That's the reason why I've got him in my team as well, Jack. And I can potentially see him starting on the bench. I really can. If Rangers are going into it, maybe being a wee bit more defensive minded, they might put Arfield out there and go with Glenn Kamara, Ryan Jack, and Stephen Davis in the middle. Because at the moment, Arfield's just undroppable. So there's no way that he gets dropped if that's the midfield he wants to go. I think he'll push him onto the right wing position. But I would like to see Arfield be in that midfield and to see Hadji play as well. What's going to be interesting for me is, does he drop Hadji and put in Jones or Barker into that position for a wee bit of pace down that side? Because we've already talked about Greg Taylor. He will push forward if he plays, or lacks it, whoever plays, he will push forward. And that wee bit of pace could be pivotal. You know? Or else, on the other hand, Hadji with the killer pass, what do you think would suit is better in this game?
If we're looking for pace, I would rather Jones. I don't want Barker starting that game.
My only fear with that, Jack, before I let you continue, is Jones has been away in international duty. I think potentially if Gerrard was going to start him in this game, he'd have liked to have been working with him on the training ground. But anyway, continue.
For me, it's not. It's going to. I think I'm expecting Celtic to play a 3-5-2. I wouldn't be surprised if they changed it, but it's the formation they play and the formation that's been working for them. So I wouldn't be surprised if they played a 3-5-2. And I think that fits right into I think that fits for us. So I think that fits us really well. I think our best assets are in the wing. And when you've not got a right or a left back, you've got two wing backs / right wingers that are going to be up in the pitch. That's all you've got. And I see Frimpong against Kent and Barisic. That doesn't add up for me. I don't think that works. Frimpong's a class player, but he's going to need somebody to drop in there with him. And who is that going to be? I don't know how the 3-5-2 works for them. They maybe start like that and then obviously adjust as the game goes. I'm sure Neil Lennon knows football better than me.
Yeah. But right, Kirsten, your time to shine. Let's go. Jack's saying he doesn't really know how the 3-5-2 is working. Would you like to talk us through your team? Let's go. Obviously, Barkas and goals. That's the obvious one.
Obviously, yes. Barkas and goals. I was going to go for a 4-3-2-1. 4-2-3-1, sorry.
Switching up.
I was going to go for that until about 4 of our players got dropped out because of COVID.
That's true. That's a factor,
because I was looking at it and I was looking at our right back options. Obviously, El Hamed's out. He can't play. But Ayers played there a few times. But then I'm looking at that and I'm going, right, he's played there the likes of maybe against like smaller teams. I don't personally want him playing in an Old Firm out in the right. Me personally, I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, he could do really well, but I went back to my usual 3-5-2. So my back line's gonna be Julian, Ayer, and Duffy. Duffy through the middle. Just Duffy, you can just tell he's a big game player. He's got a few goals for himself. Obviously, I think he really, really wants to play against Rangers. I think that's the one game that he really genuinely wants to play. Obviously European football's good as well, but I think it was more the Old Firm, and obviously him supporting his boyhood club as well. So
so far there's been a lot of talk about Duffy, and so far he's lived up to the expectations, been really good. I think this might be a bold claim. I said it to my mate the other day. I think this game is going to define whether Shane Duffy is a Celtic player or a Brighton player.
Well,
because
that's the thing.
There's a big difference. There is a massive difference, and I'm not throwing him under the bus here. He could go out on Saturday and be unbelievable, be dominant in the air and do everything that everybody's saying that he's good at and what he's done so far. But an Old Firm's just a different kettle of fish. So we're going to see what he's all about in this game, and that's a very interesting point.
That's exactly it. Like, there's no other game that's like an Old Firm. Obviously, that's just it's completely different, as you say. So I'm hoping he's as revved up as he has been, and he's speaking to the boys how he has been and commanding the game how he has been in the last few games. But we'll just need to see what happens. He could either come out here and absolutely boss it, or something could maybe go wrong. You don't know, obviously, until
I would like
happens.
to see Alfredo Morelos play him cleverly. This is an opportunity for Duffy to show, he's came for the Premier League. He's played against big strikers and stuff. He's going to be up against Morelos, most likely. That's what we're thinking. It could be Defoe or Eaton or whatever, but we think it's going to be Morelos. I'd like Morelos not to get involved in the physical battle, because I think it's a battle he'll lose. I'd like the Morelos that we see in Europe, Jack. See, when he feels a bit of contact, go down. See, as soon as he start getting a couple of fouls, that's it. I think Duffy's card will be marked, but that'll be an interesting battle. If Morelos wants to stand up to him, that'll be unbelievable to watch, and it'll be interesting to see how that one pans out. But let's see the midfield.
So on my right, I've got obviously my right wing back. I'm going to put Frimpong. Like, there's no one really else. If El Hamed could have played, I might have maybe put him starting there, and maybe put Frimpong, if we were doing a 4-2-3-1, maybe put Frimpong in the right mid. But, James Forrest is out injured, and also El Hamed's out with COVID and stuff. I'm not saying Frimpong can't do it, but after last game, him getting doubled up, I think a 4-2-3-1 would have been a bit easier, but obviously with the circumstances, we can't really do it. Brown and McGregor in the middle, just holding that, absolutely fine. And on the left, right, this is the one I struggled with the most, because knowing Neil Lennon, I think he's going to put Greg Taylor in there, right, because he's played a good few games. Obviously, defensively, he is good. It's going forward, he's not as strong, I don't think. But obviously, last podcast, mid-filming it, Laxalt signed. So I was stuck, because I was like, are we going to start him? Like, he's not played for us. Like, he's a good player, but doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be a good player for us. Like, he's never actually played a game for Celtic, so I don't know what's going to happen. Like, I don't know if he's going to be good. Plus, it's an Old Firm, so it's not just like going down the road playing Hamilton Accies. It's like possibly the biggest game of the season. But I went for Laxalt because I think he has more of an attacking threat as well. So that's what I went for.
Wee Greggy boy's been thrown the bin.
He's been absolutely tossed on the side, man. It's no offence to him. He's still a good player.
No offence to him, but he's shite, basically.
Attacking wise, I just don't see it as much personally, and I think considering what happened in the right side last time with Frimpong, I think we're going to need to go down other options and different routes, because I know for a fact that you are going to double up on him again. And I think obviously Celtic know that he's going to double up on him again, because he has such an attacking threat. So I think we need to go down other routes and possibly either go through the middle.
Greg Taylor's no that route, is he?
No, he's not that route. He's not that route. He's more a defensive route, no the attacking route. But just in front of Brown and McGregor, I've got El Yunusi playing as my cap.
You going El Yunusi?
I went El Yunusi, instead of Ncham.
Instead of Ncham. I've heard a few shouts for Rogic as well, but obviously he's not played a lot of football.
Aye, I was saying
he's a big game player though.
He's a big game player, 100%. But he only plays a wee bit. Like, his stamina's not up to scratch. I don't think
he's played over 60 minutes and he's puff, is he?
No, but he still performs well, so
he has,
it's not that bad. But
so
I just think
FIFA probably.
I just think Ncham's a bit, in the last couple of games I've not been impressed with Ncham personally. I don't know if that's there's been like talks of him wanting to move elsewhere and stuff. I've just not really been impressed. But El Yunusi's got a few goals under his belt.
I'd be happy with El Yunusi playing him, no guy.
I don't think obviously with a 3-5-2 he's not really getting in the team much, and if he is out of position. But, you know, see when it's his day, he is a really good player, he is a good attacking threat. So I've went with him as my kind of sort of cam role. And my two up front, I've actually went for Ayeti and Edward. But I actually had Griffiths, but now Edward's apparently
that's a massive call as well.
Back in.
See, my thing is, if Edward doesn't play, I don't think that he'll play two strikers. I think it'll be El Yunusi up there with an Ayeti. I don't think he'll play. Me personally, I don't think he'll play Ayeti and Klimala or Klimala and. Do you know what I mean? I think he'll go with a striker and somebody just off him if Edward doesn't play. But if Edward does play, I think it will be Edward and Ayeti up there.
So that's the thing.
Edward playing is going to be the biggest thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is. And it's going to be such an interesting point about this game as well, because obviously, if you don't know, he tested positive for COVID-19 and he'd have been isolating. He's just getting home. He's getting back tomorrow, I believe.
He's getting back tomorrow. So it's
how much has he been training? How fit is he and stuff? But he knows the game and he knows.
See if he does play. He's not playing the full game. So
no, good there. He's 60 minutes basically.
If he goes in, like, he needs to go from the get go, because I know sometimes it takes him a bit to get into the game. But if he starts, like, it's straight from the whistle. Go for it for as long as you can, and just obviously do your best. But that's the thing. We've got so many. I say so many, there's like 4 people that we can't play that are usual regular starters, so it is a bit like, well, what's the best situation, what's the best route to go down? But so far, like, I'm not saying that we can't do it. I do think we can do it. I just think it's a wee bit harder, especially with like how yous have been doing this season as well. Like, yous have started off the season really well, and an Old Firm is never easy anyway. It could go one of 2 ways, so it's one of those ones.
Right, let's break this up a wee bit. I was on the Talk Scottish Football podcast, shout out to them, and they done a wee quiz. So I thought that tonight I'll do that with yous.
Oh, God.
It isn't just about Old Firm, by the way, because I think we've spoke about Old Firm, and I have just Googled a quiz. So he's ready. Okay. It's multiple choice here. So the first one to say it will win. I need to accept your first answer though.
Okay.
We ready?
Right, go.
Question 1. Which current Premiership club has never won the Scottish Cup or League Cup? Is it A, Ross County, B, Livingston, C, Hamilton, or D, St Mirren?
Hamilton.
Is that your final answer? Final answer?
That's what I'm going.
It is C, Hamilton. 1 point on the board for Jack. There you go. Hamilton never won any of them. Big chip, I won't be happy about that.
Does not shock me in the slightest.
I have to say I'm shocked, but I'm not. So.
Here's one for you. This is really going to test your knowledge. How many teams have City in their name in the SPFL? Is it A, 1, B, 2, C, 3, or D, 4?
I'm going to guess 2.
Final answer, okay. He's went 2.
I'm going to go for 4.
Both of you are wrong. It's 3.
I'm alright with that then. It's alright.
The person that can get the most out of them gets a point. On you go. Quickly.
Edinburgh City.
Boom, that's 1 point. If he gets one, Mary's got this point, Kirsten. You better hurry up.
I'm trying to think.
Oh, man.
Edinburgh City's the only one I can think of right now. Which doesn't help, obviously, because it's been said.
Manchester City on the Premier League, just a wee tip.
Obviously, so's Leicester City.
You love them, don't you?
No, I don't.
Oh, mate.
You don't know? Right, we'll put it up to the comments then. We'll put it up to the comments. That one's away. Righty-ho. Next question. Celtic hold the record for the most consecutive appearances in the League Cup final, but how many was it? Is it A, 4, B, 7, C, D, or D, 14?
CD.
CD.
You said CD.
Is it C? What did I say?
You went, is it CD or D?
CD.
I've had a mare. Is it A, 4, B, 7, C, 10, or D, 14? That's what I should say. You went 7? Okay.
I was going to go for 7. I'm still going for 7.
It's 14.
Oh.
Gee, he's having a mare.
I'm putting him on team then. Yeah, that's bad.
He's having a big mare here.
I'm alright with getting that wrong.
I've got a few questions for you regarding Old Firm to see if any of you know this as well for after.
Right, so. Because this can't get any worse, so on you go.
Right, you ready? So it probably can, but I think Jack takes the dub on that one, to be honest with you, right? So
with 1 point.
With 1 point, 1 point. Well done, Jack. Right, so this is for like a player and for a manager. So give me a player and a manager you think for this question. So who has had the most appearances in the Old Firm? So player-wise and manager-wise.
That's mental. I'm going to say Bill Struth.
I would say Struth and all.
No?
Alex Smith for Rangers with 87.
Is that manager or player?
Yeah, player. That's player. Player. Who do you think the manager is?
Struth was the manager, I thought.
I would have thought Struth because he was there for 30 odd years.
I was doing player first, but manager is the opposite side, so I'll give you that.
All right, so manager, I'll go with. You would think so.
Who was it you said?
Jockstein.
Oh no, it's not Jockstein.
I'm not gonna lie, mate. I don't know a lot of Celtic managers.
Maybe it was a manager that was there before Jockstein. That's the only thing I can think. So I don't think.
Ronnie Dyler.
Ronnie Dyler. No, it was Willie Maley with 146 appearances for the Old Firm.
Couldn't even tell you how to spell that, mate.
Do you know what the biggest Old Firm attendance was to the nearest?
Oh, right. I'm going to go
115,000.
I'll go 117,000.
Higher.
140,000.
You know, this is the most annoying thing. You were both like in the middle. You said 35, you said that.
It's
137 and a half.
I'd maybe just go a bit lower. I thought you said 130, but it's under. It's over 130.
135.
Jack got it, 132.
Hey.
Boom. There you go. 132. You just can't get that this day and age. Can you imagine? I was doing a video the other day and the guy was doing it with me told us that Scotland, on average, like percentage-wise, the most of their population support football, like go and support their team and stuff like that. Like really? Compared to any other country in the world. That's mental. Just goes to show you, just a wee small nation and we can get 140, 120, 130, whatever it is, into a game. That's mental.
Scottish football gets slated.
It does indeed. Right, let's move back onto the Old Firm a wee bit. How do Rangers stop Celtic? For me, Frimpong is the most the biggest threat for me so far, and obviously Edward on his day, but he might not be up. He might not be playing. He might not be up to speed. So I'm going to say Frimpong. And how do we stop him? I say we double up. We've already kind of touched on my biggest kind of thing there. But Jack, what do you think, mate?
100% agree. I think he's one of the biggest threats that the whole squad has. But to just add up on that, I think it was silly not to focus a wee bit on Scott Brown because he dominates.
Win the battle in the midfield,
if you win that battle in midfield, that team goes a wee bit quieter than it can get to, and I think that is one of the biggest points. I feel like attacking wise, we're both solid. Defensive wise, with Duffy coming in, we're both kind of solid. So the battle can come down to that midfield. And if Arfield plays at his best, I think he's best for Scott Brown. That's just my opinion. Obviously, Celtic fans probably disagree because of the history Scott Brown's got, and he has dominated Scottish football in that midfield for a while. But I think toe to toe, Arfield pins him a wee bit, and with Jack and Davis behind him as well. If they two are on their best, I'm worried for them.
There you go. Well, Kirsten, how do you stop Rangers?
I think the two biggest things we need to look out for is one, Morelos. He
stops himself half the time, though. That's a problem.
Hopefully he's done well in Europe, but he's still not got an Old Firm goal. So I'm going to hope that still stays the same after this game. But he's just a pain to defend against. Do you know what I mean? He does get in the right positions, and he does know what he's doing. So I hope Duffy and the boys have their heads screwed on that day when it comes, and just don't let him in the box. Don't let him get past you. Don't let him take a shot because he will try. And see, to be honest, the left side, Ryan Kent, he's been phenomenal for you this season. So just don't let him cut in. don't let Barisic whip any balls in. And other than that, just dominate the midfield.
It's easier said than done. They were all starting to mount up there, weren't they, for a few seconds? Right, I'm absolutely buzzing. Let's get into predictions now, Jack. How did we get on the last time? And I just can't wait to hear you. I just can't wait to hear your guys' predictions for this Old Firm. I've got a feeling who you're going to go for. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, well, we've no goat scores to look at because we done it last. We didn't day score last week.
That's correct. So let's just get into the scores for this weekend, Jack.
Perfect. Cool. So we'll leave the good one to last. We'll leave that to last.
Let's fly through these though.
We'll start with St Mirren Motherwell. I've went 2-0 Motherwell. I think I don't see that going another way. St Mirren have been all right, but I think Motherwell stronger.
I'll agree with that, Jack. I'm going 2-0. St Mirren aren't looking great at the moment. Can't score in a month of Sundays. Can't even get a shot. So I think Motherwell will pick up the victory there. What about you, Kirsten?
I think Motherwell are going to win. I think I'm going to go for a 3-0 though, just to be a bit different.
Do you think Goodwin gets a sack if that happens?
I think so. Right. I don't think they've really done anything this season. What was it? They're trying to get top 6, was it? They're trying to say.
That's what he said,
it's not really going to plan so far. So yeah, definitely, I think changes will need to be made if they do get a big loss on Saturday. So yeah.
Righty-ho. Right, next one then, Jack.
Next game's Hamilton St Johnstone. I went for a 1-0 St Johnstone.
I'm going to reverse that and go 1-0 to Hamilton. I just don't think St Johnstone can score the new, and I think Big Chipper, with his Big Dipper, is going to lead them the way to a 1-0 victory. I think that'll be a snowfest, though. I would not like to be at that game.
Aye, definitely not.
What about you, Kirsten?
I think it's going to be 1-0 Accies, to be honest with you.
Hey!
I just don't really see much happening, to be honest. St Johnstone not really been scoring, as you said. And Hamilton have got a good few points this season. They've not started the worst, but obviously just need to see what happens. But I do think they'll grab the 3 points.
Third game is Dundee United v Aberdeen. I went for a 2-1 victory for Aberdeen.
I'm going to go for a 2-0 victory to Aberdeen. I don't think Dundee United are creating enough right now. Obviously, they've got the shanks. But, yeah, I just don't think they're creating enough chances. And Aberdeen are in good form. Ross McCrory just went up to the national squad. Good for him. And Lewis Ferguson is on fire at the moment as well. So I can't see it going any other way.
I agree. I think Aberdeen are going to nail it. I think it will be 2-0, to be honest, Aberdeen. Because I see going last, obviously I've got my predictions in my head and then it's like, oh no, somebody said it. But no, Lewis Ferguson's been phenomenal. I think Aberdeen were a bit shaky to start. They've turned it around. I think they've had a good few results. And Dundee haven't been the worst, but I don't see Aberdeen losing any points to Dundee if they've kept the form that they had before going into the international break.
Right, to make it fair, the next game's Livingston v Kilmarnock. I'll let you go first.
I think it's going to be 2-1 to Kilmarnock, to be honest with you. I don't...
Same for you then, I take it.
That's what I'm
2-1 Livy. I think Livy should win this.
Aye. I mean, I think Livy haven't started the best. They have picked up a good few results here and there, but I think Kilmarnock, I just think they're a pain to play against anyway. Obviously Livy with that pitch, but they're Plastic Park pals, so I think that's not really an issue for them. So I think it will just be 2-1. Kilmarnock will just edge it a wee bit.
How many have we got left to the Old Firm, Jack? Is this it? Is this penultimate?
So we've got Ross County. We've got Ross County, Hibs.
Right, let's fly through that then. Hibs to win. In fact, one each. Anyway, go. Who's next?
I've got 2-0 Hibs.
2-0 Hibs. Kirsten?
I'll go 3-0 Hibs.
Right. Old Firm time?
It's Old Firm time.
Old Firm time.
I've already gave my prediction in my last video, so if you've not seen that, go check it out. But yeah, I'm going 4-2. Goals galore. That's what I'm hoping.
That's a bold statement there.
The head would probably say 2-1 to Rangers. But I want goals in this game, man. I want it to be an absolute mental affair. And I'm going to go 4-2 to Rangers. There we go.
You go next, Kirsten?
I think it's going to be 2-1 to Celtic. I think the first Old Firm's going to be the hardest. It's going to set the tone for the rest of the season. But I do think we're going to edge it. Obviously, home advantage. And overall, I just think we need to prove that we are overall the better team. Listen, it's not our fault, right? Camden, it's not my fault. I'm not allowed in the stadium, right? But no, I think we've got a point to prove. I think we had a point to prove that before the last Old Firm got called off. But obviously, don't want to lose at home again. Definitely need to show why we deserve to get 10 in a row. So I think it's going to be a nice wee victory for us.
I have gone for what happened in the last Old Firm at Parkhead, which is a 2-1 win to Rangers.
He's just copying all my predictions, just reversing it.
So I think it's going to be a similar kind of game to the one we had at the end of last year, where it's a bit topsy-turvy, and then maybe obviously Katic probably won't be playing, but there'll be some sort of big moment where somebody will take the lead. And
who do you think will score? Like, who are your goal scorers for all these?
I've got like 6 goal scorers, so Jesus.
I've got Morelos and a Tav penalty.
Oh Jesus! I've got a Tav penalty, 2 Morelos, and then just for my video today, I just hit a long shot because I didn't know who else would score.
Was it you said that Greg Taylor was going to score or something?
I think Greg Taylor will score just for the banter, and Edward will score. So. Or else none of them will score, not just be 2-1. So
interesting. I think it'll be
interesting.
Right, on you go. Who's your
Tav penalty? Obviously, it's probably going to happen. I think Edward will score, and I'd love a Shane Duffy header. See if he'd done that. I would. That would make me very happy. So I'm hoping that.
Jack, who did you say you think your scorers will be, mate?
Morelos and Tav.
Morelos and Tav. Wow, I'm pretty sure the next episode is going to be feisty. It's going to be like a 0-0 draw now, innit? And the next episode
it's going to be so boring, isn't it? It's just not
less than a minute with a Zoom.
And look at that. We've timed it absolutely to perfection.
Brilliant.
We've got 90 seconds left. We're in stoppage time.
Okay, look at that.
So, I think that was a bit, we've kind of covered everything quite quick, eh?
It was indeed. So, troops, we'll see you in the next podcast.
Adios.
Hopefully it goes our way.
Come on, the Rangers.
No.